Okay. Okay, now it's hearing me. Now it's hearing me. Ah! Okay, now it's hearing. Sorry if my animals are being loud right now. They're crazy. What is it? Why is it once I start streaming you're so needy? Huh? I hear you, girl. Is that so? Yes, yes. Blue sky. Ba, 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 da, da. Alrighty, go here. Alright, post. Alrighty, that should be everything. I know. But hi everybody. Sorry if my animals are loud. They just like do that whenever I start streaming, even if they're being chill, or sometimes even when I'm just in voice call with people. Like immediately once I started like setting up my mic and stuff, Felony, she's the one you guys hear purring right now. She hopped in my lap and just like started being noisy. She has a lot to say. She's a streamer too. She's a streamer too. Listen to her. She has a lot to say. She has some hot takes. She has some hot takes she'd like to share. Isn't that right, girl? Anyways, today we're doing something, and it's an idea I've had for a while, but I've been holding off on it because I've been weirdly embarrassed, and I don't know why. But oftentimes...
Do it or you're fired!
Okay, I'll do it! Sheesh! But oftentimes, you know, like, whenever I'm drawing and stuff, and I'm just letting stuff play in the background, it's been Reddit stories, a lot lately, and it gets pretty wild, so I thought I'd read Reddit stories, yes, of course, Felony. I thought I'd give that a go, but I'm not very good at reading. Like, you have to have a talent for these kinds of things, you know? I'm not sure I got what it takes, you guys. That sounds fun.
Look at you! You're just
You're the bottom! You're the bottom! It sounds fun, really? I'm glad you like the idea! I'm glad you like the idea! I don't know why, but I felt like when I was like, I'm just gonna read you guys stories. I don't know, I thought people would be like, I hate you, Charlie. I don't know, I think anytime I do anything, everybody's going to hate me. You want me to get you the gaycation one? No, but I've heard that one, but you can. Actually, you can if nobody else has heard the gaycation one. I do not mind reading that. I do have a couple, because you know what I really like to do? I like to go online and just be a judgy-ass bitch. Let's all be judgy-ass bitches together, chat. So I got some posts from Am I the Devil? And so that's what I'm gonna be looking at right now. But yeah, if you wanna DM me like the gaycation, I'll read that. Have the rest of you, have you, Dionysus, have you heard of the gaycation? Alright, I'm gonna just get into this. If you hear my animals in the background, I am so sorry. But I thought this would be nice too, because if you guys are doing stuff, like, while you have me on stream, you can just be listening to a story. Awesome, awesome! Alright. So, this one is from Legal Advice UK. And the title says, "Can I go after my wife's daughter's income?" My ex-wife's daughter income. See, I can't read! So, this takes place in Scotland. My wife and I are separating due to irreconcilable differences. It appears it's going to be a split on the finances. I'm buying her out her half on the house, etc. Main issue is that my wife moved out to stay with her daughter now, which leaves me to cover all the household bills, etc. I earn 80K a month for a year. Or 80... I'm so sorry, I don't know how to read. I earn 80K a year, so it won't be an issue, but up till now we always split bills 50-50. I had grown accustomed to a certain standard of living. My wife is only a minimum part-time wage, so I don't think I would be able to go after her salaried income. However, she lives with her daughter, who is quite well off. She has very little outgoing expenses other than food, phone bill, car payments, and as I'm assuming her daughter will be paying my wife's way. So once the dust has settled here, I'm going to be spending more every month and she will be spending less. Is there any recourse for going after my stepdaughter's income, since it will be spent on my wife, so that would count as income for my wife? I think we can all agree here that this is some crazy ass shit. Cause it's not, I don't know how, like, I've never been divorced. My parents divorced, but not in Scotland, so I don't know how shit goes there. But in my humble opinion, why would you even think you're entitled to the stepdaughter's money, even a little bit? Cause it's not your wife's money. Even if your daughter is, like, let's live in a world where the daughter is paying for everything. Like, maybe that's true. But, like, you really wouldn't have the right to, because it's not like she, like, I don't know about alimony or anything anyway, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I do. But I don't think it works like that, and I don't think it should work like that. So, yeah. Also, how are you accustomed to a certain standard of living if your ex-wife makes minimum wage part-time? Like, how much difference could that possibly be? It sounds like you're a breadwinner. But next... Because that was a short one. This next one, oh god, I did not scroll. This looks a little bit... Okay, that's not too bad. A lot of these, I just saw the title. I did not read them. I was just like, I just saw the title and I was like, fuck, I gotta read this. This is crazy. My ex got revenge on me in the worst way possible, and I have no way to clear my name. Last year, I cheated on my ex-girlfriend of 8 years, Annie, with a colleague, Jess, who I now have a 3-week-old son with. I have no excuse. It cost me my job, the majority of my friendships, along with the love of a good woman. I deserved it all, and I had never expected any sympathy for my actions. Good. Annie delivered my stuff to my parents' house. I even knew... Oh, fuck, I skipped a... I know how to read, I promise! Annie delivered my stuff to my parents' house before I even knew she knew about the cheating. She didn't confront me, she just cut me out of her life without a word. I messaged everyone we knew, begging them to ask her to talk to me. I sent hundreds of messages telling her how much I regretted everything because I wanted her back. I never got a response. Jess saw the message, and it obviously caused issues between us in the beginning, but she fell pregnant quickly, so we moved past it for the sake of our family together. Okay, can we talk about how that's the dumbest shit I ever heard? First of all, you're trying to get back with your ex after she clearly, like, ended things. Like, I feel like sometimes you don't have to outright say I'm breaking up with you for there to be a breakup. I feel like the message has been clear that you are broken up with. And you clearly understand that because you want to get back together with her. I don't understand why Jess is surprised, because, like, it's really one of those things of, like, if they cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. So, it is really, I don't know. I need to, this needs background music. That's what I am lacking. I need background music. Let me put something on, because I need something. I'm realizing there's a lot of dead air, and now I'm feeling insecure and hating myself. Don't worry about it. I'm chill. Let's see. Let me put on some royalty-free background music. Ah! Spooky time music. Would that fit the vibe? I don't think it would. Let's see. Alright. Oh, okay. Okay, that seems better. This is something we can listen. Okay, anyway, like I was saying, I feel like, you know, I don't understand why Jess is shocked that the guy who cheated on his girlfriend to be with her is, like, scummy and trying to get back with the girlfriend. Because obviously he's scummy. Like, why are you shocked? And also, she fell pregnant quickly, so we had to move past it for the sake of our family together. I don't know who needs to hear this, but staying together for the sake of a baby is the worst thing you can do for that kid. Genuinely the worst thing you could do for that kid. Just in my humble opinion, I feel like, because as parents, you're also teaching your child, like, what is acceptable in, like, a loving relationship. Because they look at you, like, you're their first example of that. And then you're just teaching them to, like, be in this loveless, unhappy marriage where you put up with your partner cheating on you just for the sake of being together. You don't want that. You would be happier if you weren't together, and so would your child, honestly. Like, I don't know, because I look at my parents' divorce as, like, a happy memory in my childhood. Like, in the moment, at first, I was sad. But after I saw how, like, much better off my parents were when they weren't together, I felt better about it. Which we both wanted. I'm 100% committed to the relationship and haven't even looked at another woman since things settled down. Okay. In the final stretch of Jess's pregnancy about a month ago, I saw Annie in the shop for the first time since the breakup. She was pretty cold towards me, but said that a few months ago she found a keychain my granddad got me when I was very young. It's not valuable, but she knows it means a lot to me. And she said I could come collect it the following Saturday morning. I explained that it was just 6 days after Jess is due to give birth, so I'd probably need to be home. But she just said I could get it either on Saturday or it was going in the bin, so I agreed. Okay. I feel like, how do I put this? I'm somebody who is, like, very sentimental about things. Like, if you're my friend and you like gave me like a candy wrapper and was like, hey, could you throw this away for me, Charlie? I'd put it in my pocket and treasure it as the memory of like the time my friend needed me to throw away their garbage. So I'm super sentimental, so I can understand like something that was your granddad's that was given to you. I understand that as something that would be very valuable, but I also feel like, because at this point it's been at least like 9 months, right? Because like you were trying to get her back, and then your girlfriend found out she was pregnant, and you guys like decided to sweep that under the rug because that's healthy. So within this 9 months, this thing that was so invaluable to you is now gone, and you haven't noticed until now. I'm not saying like don't get it, but I'm also like not sure if it does. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Obviously, things can mean a lot to people, and they don't have to answer to me on if they're doing it correctly. Let's see, where was I? So I agreed for a time to go over. My son was born a few days late, but he's perfectly healthy and wonderful. So less than 24 hours old on the Saturday I needed to collect the keychain. Now you're losing me. Now you're losing me again. You've lost me before, but now you're losing me again. Because, like, your kid's not even 24 hours old, and you're going to get a fucking keychain? Don't get me wrong. I understand sentimental value. I do. But I really don't think, like, your girlfriend needs to be, like, alone right now. Like, this is a important thing. I don't know. I've never squirted out a baby, so what the fuck do I know? I planned to pop in on the way to the hospital, but when I got home to my old house, Annie invited me in to talk about how things ended between us. I thought we had a good conversation, and both of us walked away with closure. She let me apologize for the way I treated her, wished me the best of luck with my new family, and hugged me as I left. I admit I held on tightly for the hug, but it was purely because of relief, not lingering feelings. I spent less than an hour at her house, then headed to the hospital. I didn't tell Jess about any of this because I know she feels insecure about Annie still, and I didn't want to add fuel to that. Okay. You've lost me all over again. Okay, so you were on the way to the hospital and decided to stop by Annie's house. Not sure the keychain should take priority over seeing your baby, but you do you. You stayed. I understand needing closure, but I don't think this is the time or place. Your girlfriend just squirted out a baby. Like, she feels insecure about Annie and you didn't want to add fuel to that? Like, by choosing Annie over her in this moment, you definitely did. When I arrived at the hospital after seeing Annie, Jess had revoked my access and the reward manager wouldn't tell me why. I ended up being removed by security guards because I was denied seeing my son for the second time ever, and I didn't respond well to being blindsided. I tried calling Jess and her mom over and over. The only response I got was a screen recording of a message from Annie. It was doorbell footage of me walking through the door at 9:30, then back out after 10:15. And the hug is the only part caught, so it does look like we could have been kissing. The message Annie sent was, did he even shower or change his clothes between fucking me and holding his son? Congratulations on being stuck with him for the next 18 years. I hope it's everything you dreamed of. Alright, not nice? Is it not nice to lie? Yes. Do I think... I don't know. I will reserve my opinions. I'll try to reserve my opinions until, after I finish the story. No one believes this is a setup at all. It's something I never would have expected from Annie, Karma's bitch buddy, and no one else would either. So they're completely rejecting the idea that this is a lie. I sent her a message asking why she did this, assuming I'd still be blocked. Her response was she wasn't going to let me play innocent, and that I may have deleted all our messages over the past few months, but she hasn't. Obviously there are no messages, but she blocked me again straight after. So I have nothing to exonerate myself with. I waited in silence for almost a year, and wait, I fucking messed up. She waited in silence for almost a year, then took the most cruel, vindictive revenge she possibly could. I have met my son once, minutes after he was born, and now Jess is refusing any contact with me and won't let me see him again. Court will take months and my head hurts. And my heart hurts, I mean. My heart hurts every minute of every day. I know what I did to Annie was horrible, but I don't deserve this. I have no one to talk to about it because not even my own mother believes me. Her only question was why I ruined my life with a baby when Annie was willing to reconcile. And that's about the most supportive thing she's said to me since I was dumped. The few friends who stuck with me are assuming the worst too, and it's killing me. Not a single person I know sees this for what it is, and everything is ruined. Alright. So, now that I finished the story, I was able to collect all my thoughts. I don't necessarily like the idea of revenge. I saw a TikTok recently that said that revenge is a nasty negative word, and I prefer the term DIY justice. And that's the realest thing I ever heard. Like, DIY justice. My only thing is, I don't think, even, this might be a hot take, I think even if the other woman knows you're in a relationship, your anger should definitely still be at the partner that betrayed you. Because even if somebody knows you're in a relationship, yeah, it's a fucked up thing to do. But that person's not the person that promised any loyalty to you. Your partner is. And my issue with this is the fact that this is hurting the other woman. And I don't know. I feel a little bit bad for her. Because she's very clearly I know how to say my words. Because, like, she's very insecure about this relationship, which, honestly, I think anybody would be. However, it's really one of those things of, like, this relationship, I don't think was going to last anyway, because she has insecurities about being like the other woman, and his, like, obsession with trying to get back with Annie, and, I don't know. I feel like the fact that they didn't ever try to address this, they just were like, oh, you're pregnant? Well, let's sweep this problem under the rug. I feel like they weren't going to last anyway. However, I do think it's mean to fuck up with somebody who just gave birth to. I think it's fucked up to, mess with her feelings. She just gave birth. This is already a very emotional time for her. However, I don't necessarily feel bad for OP. I don't know if that's a hot take. Alright, next story. Alright, let me drink my cola. It's good for me. My 26 male brother, 21 male, is holding my fiance 25F's views against me. How can I get him to judge me individually? My brother and I were extremely close growing up. I've always looked out for him like the bug brother should, and I cried at his high school graduation. Our relationship took a turn for the worse when I met the love of my life. My fiance is the most beautiful, wonderful woman in the world. I love her dearly. I'm so excited to call this woman my wife. Now here's what I'll say. Everyone has baggage, and she's unequivocally a bigot about the community, if you know what I mean. I mean, which community? There's a lot of communities. There's, like, the trans community, there's religious communities, there's just the LGBTQ community in general. There's like a golfing community. I need to know what she's bigoted towards. I need you to specify a little. But also it's like, you yourself, oh my boy, I just had puberty there for a second. You guys hear me? Okay, but you yourself state that your wife is a bigot. Like, this is not something you're, like, blind to. So, I don't... Why? Why are you with her? Like, how could you love somebody that's a bigot? My brother is a part of the community and has completely drifted away. Well, no shit! I find myself being left on red, no phone calls, etc. He will speak at family events, but that's it. I confronted him about it. Apparently, he thinks my finances views are a reflection of me. Asterix, I think you mean fiance. I have challenged my fiance's views and called it out. But I consider myself a strong ally for the community, and it's unfair to hold the views of someone else against me. I think it's completely fair. Yeah, judging by the context clues and honestly the comments, it seems like they are talking about the LGBTQ community. I think, okay, first of all, I feel like the fact your brother's a part of this community would make you, like, even more, like, especially if you guys are as close as you say, wouldn't somebody being a bigot be an even bigger turnoff for you? I don't know. I feel like once, I don't know, like, how old are you again? 26? Okay, I'm 27. Okay, so there's, I was like, okay, maybe you're just, like, young and immature and you struggle with, like, oh, but she's, like, she cares about animals and stuff, like, maybe, like, your pros and cons is weird, but I don't know, there's nothing, but yeah, you're the company you keep, and I understand when it comes to stuff like politics, even though I don't think, you know, people's existence should be political, but, like, whenever, discussing politics, even in my own group of friends, I feel like if we all sat around and discussed politics, we are going to find things that we fundamentally disagree on. We're all very different people from very different walks of life with very different viewpoints. And that's fine. To a point. It's fine if you, like, disagree on, like, I don't know, the fucking economy. Like, if you're like, I think we would do better in a social democratic society. And then your friend's like, I think we would do better if, like, we just didn't have a government at all. And we all just put little gremlins in charge. You know, like from that little horror movie, if you give them, like, water and after midnight, they fuck up your life. I think those should be in charge. Then, I don't know, I'd be like, okay, that's a little silly, but, like, that's a viewpoint that's not hurting anybody. But with that said, when it's on the topic of human lives and rights and, you know, I don't know, if you have bigoted views towards human beings in general, and you tolerate that, and you want to marry, like, you want to marry into bigotry. That is quite literally what you're saying in this. That's not good. Oh yeah, oh? Okay. Oh yeah, I was just checking my messages. Thank you, Leafy. I'm gonna read the gaycation story. I've heard this story before, but this is for you guys. Alright. My 42 female husband, 42 male, has informed me he intends to go on a gaycation with his brother-in-law, 35 male, in Ibiza. How do I handle this? Hi there. I really wish I didn't have to make this post, but here goes. So me and my husband have been happily married for 16 years, give or take. We both have stable careers, good family life, and are fairly fortunate despite the cost of living racking the UK right now. I read that so weird, I'm so sorry. We have 2 boys, 15 and 10. And up until this Sunday, I thought we had it pretty good. We argue sometimes, of course, but it never gotten too bad. And we have a pretty decent sex life with some exploration, but I won't get into that. Long story short is, on Sunday, just after I dropped our boys off at their friends, my husband asked me if we had the house alone, and more importantly, do I have a minute? I said yes, and he sat me down explaining, and then got out this printed poster for some sort of orgy, and started explaining to me the concept of a gaycation. How it's where straight men go somewhere with the sun, sand, and booze, and become gay for the duration of the trip. But that's fine, because it doesn't actually count. Because what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation. I was completely silent and mortified, and even more so when he said he was looking into booking a trip to Ibiza next year with his brother-in-law, his sister's husband, to experience it for himself. When he finally let me speak, I just said I need him to be clear with me. Is he gay? Because if yes, that's okay, but we need to figure out what happens going forward. I didn't let myself get angry or upset. I was just stunned. He swore up and down he's not gay, and he's 100% attracted to women, and of course still loves me and our boys. So I said, well, do you think you're bi? And he got very defensive, saying how I need to drop the accusations because this is the beauty of the gaycation. Yes, honey? I'm sorry. What's the matter? Why are you just meowing at the window? Sorry about that. She didn't need anything. She was lying for attention. Where was I at? I said, do you think you're bi, maybe? And he got very defensive, saying how I need to drop the accusations and that this is the beauty of the gaycation. It allows straight men to experience gayness without actually being gay, and how it's like going to an aquarium. Okay. And again, he was adamant. He doesn't find men's bodies or genitalia exciting at all, but he needs to experience this apparently. I said I'm not really comfortable with this, even if he was bi, because this would be explicitly cheating on me. And he got angry and reiterated that he's not, because that's the beauty of the gaycation, etc. I just had enough and left the room. I ignored him for the rest of the day, but we spoke at tea. They said at the beginning of this that this takes place in UK, right? You guys just have fucking tea parties? Oh yeah, I should talk in an UK accent. Actually I can't. I'm so bad at accents. I ignored him for the rest of the day, but we spoke at tea where I again asked him, why does he want to do this so bad if he's not gay? Fair question. He said how he's interested in gay men's lives. He's interested in how gay men's lives stray. I know how to read, I promise. He said how he's interested in how gay men's lives differ from straight men's, and that unfortunately, once the gaycation begins, it's simply impossible for the man to resist, and he must surrender himself, mind, body, and soul to the gaycation or be destroyed. Ayo? Also, I don't think, like, on average, like, sure there's, like, society differences and, like, stigmatized stuff, but, like, I feel like a gay man's lives is just like a straight man's, only difference being the kind of people they choose as their partner. But okay. I can't really put it into words how surreal it was because he was speaking so matter-of-factly, and again insists this is a thing that all straight men do, and how he's actually doing it a little bit late. I just said to him if he has any love for me, he can't go ahead, and if he does, the marriage will be dead. We didn't speak anymore after that. Since then, he's mentioned no more of it, but somehow, and this is what scares me a lot too, that decision genuinely seems to be tearing him up. He didn't go to work on Monday, and only went half a day yesterday. He told me he just felt too ill. He looks distraught every time I see him. I don't really think he's wholly gay, though I can absolutely believe he's bi, but I'd rather we talked about this in a healthy way rather than this weird denialism and going on a sex holiday to Ibiza. Yeah, I can agree with that. Has anyone known straight guys to do this? And come back and just go back to being straight? Like, surely that can't be a thing that happens. I'm so out of the depth here, I don't know how to even initiate this conversation. For the record, I also haven't mentioned this to his sister yet. I don't know how to even break it to her. Thanks for any help. I just don't even want to think about being able to get this out. I just don't even want to think about being able to get this out there has helped me even a little bit. My dumber is the person who types this. What the fuck it... Edit. Wow, this blew up. This has been incredibly sobering, and I think I've now confirmed what I already knew to be the case. The marriage is dead, one way or the other. In a way, I was in denial about that myself. I have contacted my sister-in-law, and she initially screamed at me, calling me a liar, insinuated I was trying to steal her husband. She rang me back shortly, apologized, and admitted that she was in deep, deep shock. Yes, we're doing the legendary story! I asked my parents to look after the boys, and we're going to meet tomorrow to discuss this deeper. And I also had texted my husband, told him we need to make alternate accommodation arrangements, but he will not be sleeping here tonight. A bag will be waiting for him. Not sure if the mods want to lock the post or not, but I think I've got my answers. Thank you for your kind words, especially Champion Flight, who gave me the really good dose of reality I need. P.S. A lot of people are asking about the aquarium. At risk of doxing myself, there is a pretty famous aquarium in the UK called The Deep. At the end, you walk through the tunnel, go underneath the main fish tank. It's quite immersive, I suppose. Oh, that sounds so fun! I'm gonna go to the deep. I wanna go to the deep and have gay sex. My husband explained to me the aquarium thing, that it's a bit like that. You go there and you observe the fishes. You even get a little bit up close, but you never actually enter the water, like get emotionally invested or become a fish, gay, so it doesn't really count. I mean, oh hell yeah, I go on a gaycation. I go on a gaycation any day of the week. I also feel like this aquarium analogy really doesn't work, like, cause you observe the fishes, but never enter the water, which apparently means get emotionally invested. But you don't get physically invested with the fish either. You don't Sir, are you a gay fish? You can in some? Oh! I always wanted to go to a fish zoo. It was very bizarre. It was a very bizarre analogy, but I pointed out it makes no sense. He just got more to huff and how I just don't get it. Frankly, I still don't. Some relevant comments. Commenter 1. Your husband isn't proposing a gaycation. He's proposing cheating on you with some men while using magical thinking to pretend it doesn't count. The fact he's planning this with his sister's husband makes it even more disturbing. His bizarre explanation about surrendering mind, body, and soul isn't straight man's curiosity. It's someone desperately trying to justify exploring his sexuality while keeping his heterosexual marriage. His depression about not being able to go isn't about missing a vacation. It's about being forced to confront his sexuality without his convenient "what happens in Ibiza stays in Ibiza" excuse. His meltdown over not going shows how desperately he wants to avoid facing this reality. Couldn't you also, like, if you're straight and you're positive you're straight, couldn't you just look at gay porn? Isn't that still the same thing of, like, observing and not getting emotionally invested? Am I crazy? Because I feel like that's not cheating. I think it's fine to look at porn. That's fine. At least in my book. Some couples are different. That's fine. Whatever works in your relationship. Maybe he's into pegging? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That doesn't make you gay either, I think. Don't, like, guys have, like, a cheese spot in there somewhere? Or is that a myth? You guys gotta... Do men have a clitoris in their asshole? It's an honest question. It's true, it's the bussy. Of all my homies love the bussy. Yes. Where the fuck was I? So this is just a thought, but I'm wondering if he was really planning on doing the gaycation or if that was just a cover to get you to agree with it. What if the real plan was to get women while he's down there? I feel like it's cheating either way. I don't think that would be a... Like... You would have to have a pretty dumb husband to be like, I'm just gonna tell her I'm cheating on her with men. That way, she won't know I'm cheating on her with the women. Like, it changes nothing. It's still cheating. Tell him you are gonna have a straightcation while he's gone. You are going to surrender mind, body, and soul to other men. Honest to God, if my husband proposes to me, I would use his time to pack up, move out, have divorce papers waiting on him. All my homies go on the gaycation. Hell yeah! When I last posted, I contacted my husband to tell him I wouldn't be staying home tonight and had a bag waiting for him. As you can imagine, we argued quite badly. I won't go into specific details, but no, I'm 100% on board with the fact that he's minimum bi, might be gay altogether. We've had arguments. Oh my god! On the gaycation! My goodness. We've had arguments in the past, but I've genuinely never seen him have such a childish tantrum before. Screaming about how I don't understand the gaycation. Absolutely despise that phrase now. Oh yeah, welcome! We're reading Reddit stories! Welcome to the gaycation! I'm becoming a Redditor today. I'm learning how to read, actually. I've had this idea for a while that I would just read Reddit stories. I don't know how to read. And I'm learning some people don't know how to type. Okay, the gaycation. Absolutely despise that phrase now. And insinuating I'm actually homophobic because I refuse to allow him to participate in this cultural exchange with the gay community. you said to just ask him if it would be acceptable if the roles were reversed. And I did say, would it be acceptable if I went and slept with other guys during that week? Like fucking clockwork, he was angry and offended, saying it's completely different because a gaycation means literally nothing, and what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation, etc. So it actually doesn't count, whereas I'd be straight up cheating. I don't mean to be that guy, but because he's like throwing around stuff like homophobic and stuff, which I don't think it's the homosexuality that's really the issue here, but like, if you're saying that cheating doesn't count if you're sleeping with men, are you not dismissing gay people? I love this story too, it's crazy. I feel like it's homophobic to say, like, if you sleep with, like, a person of the same sex, it doesn't count. This is something I've, like, encountered as, like, a both sexual myself. I feel like it's a red flag to me if a guy's like, yeah, if you, like, fucked another woman, that wouldn't be cheating. That's a red flag to me. That's weird. You should be upset. You should be upset if that was on the table. Well, I turned it around on him. No, but you see what happens in Manchester. Why'd I say it like that? My southern accent came out. Y'all ignore that. Y'all ignore the way I just said Manchester, please. Well, I turned it around on him. No, but you see what happens in Manchester. Why am I doing that? Why can't I say this word right? No, but you see what happens in Manchester stays in Manchester. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't count. It's like bird watching. And I think it got through to him. He went all quiet and started crying, admitting he thought of me sleeping with another man destroyed his heart, but relationships need sacrifices, so while he agreed in tears, when he goes on the gaycation, I'll get 1 week in Manchester to do whatever I want. He doesn't want me to, but that's fair in a twisted way, he supposed. What the fuck? Just don't go on the gaycation. Just like, I don't know, look at gay porn, and then you could be like, oh, this is how I feel about this. I feel like it's that easy. I told him to get out of my house. Thankfully, he left without a fight. I know it's incredibly petty, but I also drained the joint bank account, legal in the UK, so he couldn't try to use it against me. In about an hour, I rang up his mom, my mother-in-law, who just screamed and screamed at me about being a cheating whore, and how I was horrible, and what about the kids, etc. When I finally got my composure back, I just said, ask your son about the gaycation. Obviously, at first she got angry. I said no, ask him about the gaycation, and he'll explain. But she called me a fucking joke and hung up. Later on, getting into the evening, got another phone call from her in a flood of tears, very apologetic. Okay. Of course. Very apologetic. I told her she doesn't need to be the one to apologize. She was upset. She was so upset she put my father-in-law on the phone, who while he sounded calm, I could tell was on some sort of warpath. Why? Like, I don't know, don't cheat on your wife, but I don't know. Parents shouldn't be that involved, you know? Grown-ups, you guys are in your 40s. Again, while very apologetic, and he said he overheard that phrase as my husband initially said, no, it's nothing, before explaining how it's a modern thing men do, etc. I gave them the same spiel about what happens on the gaycation, men cannot resist the gaycation, how a man must surrender to the gaycation, etc. Father-in-law said he just told him to leave or they'd call the police. He doesn't care where he goes, but he wasn't staying there. Husband tried to call me while I was on the phone, but I just ignored it. Father-in-law said he was so sorry for me. They had my corner, and so that's one thing. He told them to be there for their daughter because it sounds like brother-in-law is involved. Husband didn't tell them that. Father-in-law said he had to go because he was just so angry. Got a text from my husband after the phone call, which was weirdly rambly, saying how I abused the gaycation to destroy his marriage and destroy his life. And again, insinuated that I and his parents was being homophobic by doing such a thing. Told him we'll talk when he grows up. I told him we'd talk when he grows up and blocked his number. I took a day off from work because I had the locks. Fuck. Let me drink my cola. I took a day off to have the locks changed this morning. That's 500 pounds gone. That's pounds, right? That's a pound sign? That's what they do in the UK, pounds? I don't know. But whatever. I at least know he won't be coming back. I'm going to look into how to proceed with divorce and we'll move on from there. Oh, of course, there's also brother-in-law. I haven't yet met with sister-in-law. She was in such a state and has taken this far, far worse for reasons that'll be clear soon. We're going to try tomorrow, but we did talk over the phone and I eavesdropped on the conversation with her husband, where she put her phone on speaker and I went mute. Her husband got home earlier. She made him come home and She made him come home, told him there was an emergency, and just said to him, "Can you please explain what a gaycation is?" She told me afterwards she was praying he'd look confused or just be like, "What?" Anything like that. But instead, he sat her down and explained that the gaycation is a new thing where straight men go to gay hotspots, participate in gay sex acts, but it doesn't count because there's no investment. Because what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation. He said it like it's like writing down angry thoughts and putting them in a drawer, and you never have to see them again. The whole time, the sister-in-law is in tears as he just calmly bats off the same point my husband did about how it doesn't count, and even did the whole "it's impossible to resist, you must surrender the gaycation or be destroyed" bullshit. I seriously think they must be speaking to a dominatrix or something. Are there even male doms? Yes. Because surely neither of them are into this. Because surely neither of them are that into this to actually make this up on their own. I don't really want... I wish I knew how to read! I really don't want to go into what was discussed for her sake, but it became very apparent to me that the brother-in-law is into sissy hypno porn. I love how you said you're not going to go into it, and then you went directly into it. And at times conflated that with the concept of gaycation. Welcome, Liz! Welcome! There was an utterly surreal moment where sister-in-law was just trying to wrap her head around this. Welcome! Everybody's here for the gaycation! Welcome, Daniel! There was this utterly surreal moment where sister-in-law was just trying to wrap her head around this, while also in floods of tears he explained so genuinely, matter-of-factly, that for most men, the gaycation is either a one-time thing or an annual thing. But some men go on the gaycation for years, and others simply never return because they use hypnosis and mind control to be totally feminized into the state of a permanent pseudo-gayness. What the fuck did I just read? I think that's just being gay. I think once you try gay sex and you don't go back, I think that's just being gay, and that's fine. Lost the gaycation, so sad. She said in disbelief, "Surely if you're taking it up the arse willingly because you want to, that makes you gay." And he said, "No, because that's the beauty of the gaycation. You can do all this gay stuff, but you don't have to interact with the wider gay life experience." What's the wider gay life experience? What does that even mean? She asked him if this sissy stuff is what he wanted, and he said not on a long-term basis, and was adamant that this is something all straight men do, but she wouldn't get it because she's a woman. I mean, there's still gay women that exist. Like, what's... Like...
You what?
Like... There could be a girly gaycation. Like, there could be women out here that read this and are like, you know what, mister? I understand. And I too wanna go on a little lady gaycation, you know? But where was I? Then there are more insinuations of homophobia. Well, that marriage is dead too, I suppose. The whole ordeal ended when she said to him he has a choice to make, and he said no. He doesn't need to make this choice because that's the beauty of the gaycation. It allows him to keep his marriage because it doesn't count. It really doesn't if your wife is saying, if you go cheat on me, I'm leaving you. It doesn't. This isn't real. She said it's not the choice, it's the choice. I know how to read, I promise. She said that's not the choice. The choice is whether he's leaving the house that night or she is. The only good thing he did was leave. Me and sister-in-law spoke about it, and I'm just still utterly stunned. I know so many women who are tired of their husbands and want to go on a lesbication. Understandable. I understand she's gone to her parents for support. What exactly did we have to do to have our lives destroyed in such an abrupt, bizarre, embarrassing way? For some advice, I'm going to look at devices and bank statements. I'm so sorry. Per some advice, I'm going to look at devices and bank statements to see if we can find any definitive proof of cheating. After that, I suppose we'll figure out how to tell the boys why their father won't be coming home. That is a wild thing. I forgot that they have children in this relationship. How do you break it to your child? I think earlier they said that their kids are 15 and 10. How do you, be like, yeah, daddy left because he had to surrender himself to the gaycation. And they're like, so dad's gay? I was like, I don't know. Ask him. Edit. Spoke to other sister-in-law, my husband's family, older sister. Why'd you put this here? That's unnecessary. I get there's two sisters if you say other sister-in-law. Spoke to other sister-in-law, gave her a skimmed-down version of it. Asked her husband, and thankfully he was deeply confused, and mentioned about 2 years ago at a birthday party, he was approached by my husband and brother-in-law about signing on some online boot camp around BDSM cross-dressing. He assumed he was taking the piss out of him and told him to fuck off and never really thought of it again. The fact that this has been going on for that long is making me want to throw up. You ever hear Wheeler Walker Jr.'s I Sucked Another Dick Last Night? Oh, is that a song? No, but I'd listen to it. P.S. For the poster who said about divorce options, I'm actually going to look into adultery because plain and simple, that's what it is. Welcome! Thank you for the 10 streak! Welcome. We're talking about the gaycation.
Silence, anime woman.
How dare you! I gotta read this story. I don't know how to read, but I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn how to read, and you guys are gonna be proud of me. Alright, I think I'm gonna skip past the commenter stuff. Actually, wait, is that it? Other than the... Yeah, this other one's just a commenter that's saying, like, these men are destroying their lives. Okay, so story basically over. My final thoughts. I think it is completely fine to be in a heterosexual marriage and then realize that you might be bi or gay. But when you come to those realizations, you have to talk to your partner in a healthy way to just be like, hey, I'm realizing this about myself. But I think if you're sleeping with men or women, it's still cheating. It's still bad. Howdy. It's literally him confessing to his wife that he gets drunk and sucks dudes off, but he isn't gay. It's just something he does now. Honestly, that's the same vibe as this Reddit post. Same vibe. Cause like, it's so weird. Cause like, the crazy thing to me is calling her like homophobic for being like, I don't want you to cheat on me. Like, and he's like, I have to surrender myself to the gaycation. Look, this is a both sexual thing. I don't like the idea of like the other, like, sex getting dismissed. Like, I don't like when guys are like, oh, if my girlfriend cheated on me with another woman, that wouldn't be cheating. It still would be cheating. It's still not okay. Like, no. However, and if you're somebody that is fine with your partner sleeping with other people, you do you. That's a different conversation entirely. And something like that, like you could talk about, hey, I'm realizing, you know, I see love differently, and I want to be poly, or I want to have an open relationship. It's like I don't like the stigmatization around those things. Like, I'm not sure. I don't think a poly relationship is something I would personally want. I'm not against them though, but like, I feel like if you have a partner, I don't like the idea of like, how do I put this? I don't like whenever people who are like poly or whatever try to open up to their partner about that kind of stuff, and it just becomes an argument of like, oh, so I'm not enough for you? I don't think that's okay or a healthy way to come across it. But this isn't even being poly. This is just being like, I want to cheat on you, and I want you to be okay with that. But yeah, don't cheat on your partners. Next Reddit story? I know Takashi said he had some opinions he wanted to share, if you still want to share them. Oh. But back to, Am I the Devil? If I decide to make this reading Reddit story a thing, should I do a thing where, like, people can submit whatever stories they want to share? Because, like, Leafy wanted me to read the gaycation story, and he just DM'd it to me. I honestly do want to know what the fuck he means by you have to surrender yourself to the gaycation or be destroyed. Like, who's gonna destroy you? What's gonna happen? I feel like if he gave more context on that, maybe he could get the wife on his side. Like, you don't understand. I have to suck dick, or they're gonna kill our family. Like, then I'm sure the wife would be like, well, shit, we got it. Go do it, man. Go get in that gaycation. But like, I don't think it's like wrong to explore sexuality. Like, everyone learns and grows on like what they're into. Like, it's like earlier we were talking about pegging. I don't think that's like inherently gay to like want to be pegged by your girlfriend, because like, guys have like clitorises in their asshole, right? So like, I understand why you would want to experience that. I completely understand. But if you are gay, I think you should also like come to terms with that and realize there's nothing wrong with you, and that you're fine the way you are. And you know, the beauty in life is that we're trying to figure ourselves out, and when you do learn things about yourself, that's a beautiful thing. And obviously, if he's like gay, then he can't make it work in a marriage with a woman, and that's okay. Sometimes divorce can be a good thing, and it's a good thing to just, you know, accept who you are. And so I do hope her husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, can learn to love himself. However, this is not the healthy way to go about it. Alright. We read this one. I need to learn how to close out tabs. Alright, next story. I ran over my girlfriend's cat 2 months ago, and she still thinks it ran away. How do I tell her? I picked this because isn't this an episode of That 70s Show? Didn't Eric do this to Donna? I was about to say I ran over my cat's girlfriend. Fucked. I ran over my girlfriend's cat 2 months ago. And she still thinks it ran away. I'm not sure how I can tell her without making her upset. Sometimes you gotta just tell people shit that's gonna make them upset. You have to, like, there's no way. She loves her cat. She's going to be upset. She had that cat for almost 6 years, and she loved her so much. I don't really like cats, so I'm not sure how to feel about it. You should still feel bad. I feel bad for my girlfriend, but I don't feel much about the cat in general. I'm scared that because of this, it might be difficult for me to show empathy to my girlfriend. I want advice on how to tell her because I'm scared I'll say the wrong thing and possibly make her even more sad about her cat than she already is. She's been mourning the cat's disappearance, and I'm scared that if I say the wrong thing, it'll make it a lot... Okay, I'm gonna be a judgy-ass bitch. I feel like even if you're... Because, like, there's some people out there that fucking hate cats. Hate them. It's fine to not like an animal, but I feel like if you know that, like, something's important to your partner, wouldn't that be important to you? Like, let's say your friend's grandma died. You don't know the grandma, you never met her, but your friend is sad. Wouldn't you still be sad because they're sad? Wouldn't you want to be there for them? I feel like it's not hard to show empathy for things that affect the people that love you, even if it doesn't affect you personally. I don't feel like that's a hard thing to do, you know? But like going to like the grandma analogy, like, how do I put this? Actually, like, it also kind of makes it worse, because, like, the cat died because of you. So wouldn't you, even if you don't like cats, still feel bad because that happened and it was all your fault? Like, going back to the grandma analogy, if my friend's grandma died, I'm so sad. If I killed your grandma, I'm so sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to do that. I would never want to kill your grandma. I love you. But, like, maybe this analogy isn't that great. Never mind. Never mind. For legal reasons, I have not ever attempted murder. But, yeah. I think Eric should just tell Donna what he did. That was a very short one. Next story. Alright, let me get a sip of my cola. How do I, 22 male, get my sister, 19 female, to forgive my girlfriend, 25 female? Or at least remain cordial? I have been with my girlfriend for 4 months now. We met at the bar. She's legitimately the most gorgeous woman I ever seen. She's tall, in shape, very pretty. She's just stunning. Everything about the relationship is great. The sex, our friendship, the sense of humor aligns. We had our differences in the relationship. I'm very progressive. Did I say progressive? I know how to read, but I don't know how to say my words. I'm very progressive. She is very conservative. Okay. Which normally I have a heart. I don't know why I just... what just happened there? We're going to ignore the way I just jumbled my words right like that. Which normally I have a hard time getting along with conservatives, but she taught me to be more open-minded. You learned to be open-minded from a conservative? Okay. Now, conflict with my sister arose when my girlfriend was looking at something on Twitter and rolled her eyes. My sister said, "What are you looking at?" My GF brought up some pro-abortion post. My sister defended abortion, and my GF is staunchly against it. This is where things get out of hand. My sister opens up about her abortion, saying it was the hardest decision of her life, and told my girlfriend not to be judgmental. My girlfriend basically tells my sister she's a selfish person and irresponsible for getting an abortion. My sister actually cried and asked me to take her home. I drove my sister home. She said my girlfriend is a terrible person, and I let her know I don't agree with what my girlfriend said, but she's not a terrible person. She just made your little sister cry. She's a great person who made a mistake. My sister got angry and stopped talking to me. She will occasionally send me TikToks or videos she finds funny, but declines anytime I ask to hang out or phone calls. Why would she hang out with you ever again after that? Our conversations are very non-existent and consist of just sending each other videos. I confronted my girlfriend and told her that she went too far. My girlfriend agreed and apologized, but says my sister wants nothing to do with my girlfriend anymore. What? Wait, what the fuck? My girlfriend agreed and apologized, but my sister says she wants nothing to do with my girlfriend anymore. Okay, that makes more sense than what I was reading. Which is fine, but can she at least talk to me? My girlfriend is here to stay, whether my sister likes it or not. So I'm trying to get my sister to get along with her, or at least get back to normal with me. I feel like this goes back into the Reddit story we read earlier about this guy's like brother who's in the LGBT community not accepting his homophobic girlfriend. It's really one of those things of like you like I said earlier, you know, even like the most progressive of people, if you get us in a room together, we're all different people from different backgrounds, different viewpoints. Everyone at some point is going to find a level where you disagree on something in politics. And that's fine. However, when it comes to like people's human rights and autonomy and stuff, I don't feel like that's something you can disagree on. And I come from a very conservative background. And, you know, my entire life I was told like abortion is murder, abortion is baby killing, and I still don't fully know what the fuck goes on during an abortion. However, I do have knowledge in like history, and I don't think, you know, going back to women with like a hanger in a sketchy basement with some creepy guy is really like what we want to go back to. I also think you shouldn't judge people for like the sister said, the hardest decision in her entire life. That is not an easy decision to make whenever you have to make that decision. So I don't know. You shouldn't make people feel bad, I think. It's also just like you've never been in that position, so you know. But yeah, I feel like if your girlfriend calls your sister like, what was it she said? Let me look for it. A selfish, irresponsible person, and judges her for like the hardest decision of her life and makes her cry and tries to make her feel bad. Your girlfriend's a bad person. She just is. And you, in this moment, picked her over your sister. And your sister sees that, and I don't know, this is karma, bitch. This is, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Next story. Am I the asshole for returning my wife's shoes? My wife was at the doctor's office for our baby's 2-week checkup when I stumbled upon a new purchase in her closet. As in shoes, flip-flops, sandals, etc. That looked pretty close to the ones that are already in the closet. It's literally deciding to rip a part of you out. It's so hard to psychologically without shunning. Ah, I see, I see. Like, I don't know too much about the process. I know my mom says some stuff that I'm like, I don't think that's a real thing. Like, I know my mom said something like, there's this thing where, like, after the baby, like, is 9 months and you, like, give birth to the baby, you have the option to, like, kill the baby there, and that's an abort. And I'm like, I don't think that's a thing. I don't look, I haven't looked into it, so I don't fucking know, but I don't think that's a thing. But, because also, I feel like if you went through, like, 9 months and decided to give birth to the baby, then you decided to keep the baby. But I don't know. That's, I would have to look into it a bit more. I don't feel knowledgeable enough to speak on abortions. Misinfo from the 90s? Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it. I'll look into it in my own time. Anyway, my wife was at the doctor's office for our baby's 2-week checkup when I stumbled upon new purchases in her closet, as in shoes, flip-flop sandals, etc. It was pretty close to the one she already had in the closet that she had bought earlier in preparation for, I guess, summer. Except those shoes were much bigger than the ones she had previously. This is her first baby, and to be honest, what I noticed more than anything is the fact her feet have gotten swollen, wider and longer as her pregnancy progressed. It has been a big mood killer for me. Okay, buddy, I'm sure her wife's not too thrilled about this change either. And it's made worse by the fact my mom compares pregnancy feet to a loaf of bread. What? My mom compares pregnancy feet to a loaf of bread? And I can't what? And is the OP stupid or am I? And it's made worse by the fact my mom compares pregnancy feet to a loaf of bread, and I can only visualize her feet like that. But more than that, my mom said that feet are supposed to shrink after pregnancy, and weight loss is a big part of it. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, when the fuck did my music get muted? What the hell? I just noticed that it was silent. I was like, where the fuck did the background music go? Whoopsie daisy. Anywho, I don't think that's how... I feel like more often, one thing you have to know is, like, everyone's pregnancy is different. However, usually you hear about stuff like feet swelling up and stuff like that. And you definitely don't hear about weight loss. I feel like whenever you think of a pregnant woman, she's bigger. And that's fine. All my homies love a big lady. However, yeah, this is a wild thing for your mom to say. Like, every pregnancy is different, and maybe this is something she experienced in her pregnancy. I don't know, I wasn't there. And that's fine, but everyone's pregnancy is different, and whatever your mom's talking about, not the norm. So, I was upset that my wife just spent all this money on new shoes when she barely goes anywhere outside of either her bedroom or her baby's room, and should be gunning for weight loss instead of throwing in the towel. This is a weird thing to say even if your wife wasn't pregnant. I thought that it was an impulsive purchase that in the end was going to waste money and de-incentivize her to lose weight and look for solutions to her swollen feet. I will save everything until after this story. As a result, I ended up taking my shoes back and getting refunds. now my wife is pissed, and I feel like she's just going to refuse weight loss out of spite. Am I the asshole? I can't help feeling not attracted to her, and unfortunately the state of her feet is something I notice very clearly. Also, I'm still mad that she used my money without permission, and I'm tempted to cut up the credit card she uses if she's going to continue to impulse buy. I don't know. Is this financial abuse? I don't want to throw around the word abuse lightly, but I feel like, I don't know, this last sentence about this being my money and I'm going to cut up the credit cards she uses, I can only assume that means she's going to be a stay-at-home mom. And it's like she should be allowed to buy something nice for herself. And look, that sounds so uncomfortable. Having like swollen feet while a human is growing inside of you. Look, I've said this before. I want to have 1 million babies. I want to have so many kids. I've always been a lot more open to adopting rather than biological children, because my personal opinion is there's so many kids in this world that need a home that it feels weird to just make another child. However, there's also things I hear about pregnancy that I've always wanted to experience. I don't know if this is a weird thing to say. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say that. That is kind of weird. So I'll leave that out. But there's things about pregnancy that I kind of want to experience, right? And so I'm like, maybe when the time comes, I could squirt out a couple kids, you know? But I'd also be very interested in adopting. But I suppose that's a future Charlie conversation. Anyway, so I don't know, like, I feel like if I had a partner, I would not, like, be on this weird ass, you gotta lose weight shit, especially when they're pregnant. I'm sorry, but if I have a partner and they're pregnant, get as big as you want, honey. I'm not getting into that. Every woman I met who has a kid hated every little bit, and suddenly one day forgot all of it and wanted to have more again. Then mid-process asked why they chose this. Yeah. Hi Sword. We're reading Reddit stories today. You missed the gaycation. But yeah, I think, like, I don't know, like, I feel like if your partner, even if she wasn't pregnant, let's say she was just overweight, I don't know, I feel like that's not my business. Somebody else's weight is not my business, even if we're fucking married. Like, I understand to an extent, if you're, like, concerned about health, but, like, you would have to be, like, severely, like, overweight, and severely underweight, too. I feel like we don't talk about that enough. Being underweight is also not great. And this is also something, because, like, while I've never exactly been on the heavier side, I've always been, like, very scrawny and petite. I've had the other side of body shaming where, like, people like accuse me of having eating disorders and shit. And that's not fun. That's not even a little bit fun. So, I don't know. I'm of the stance, like, your weight is not my business, and I'm not going to comment on somebody else's weight. Frankly, I don't know, I kind of enjoy a little chub. You know? But that's just me. I'm not against it either. Like it's not like a requirement. I'm not like a chubby chaser or anything, but, like, you know, I like it. But, you know, I would date a scrawny, I don't know what kind of hole I'm digging. I'd date a scrawny person too. I don't care. It's not a requirement. But, like, it's really one of those things. We all have our thing, and it's fine. It's fine that he's like, you know what? I don't think her swollen feet is sexy. I'm sure she doesn't think that either. You know? I don't know. I feel like the thing that, like, bothers me, you're just not a, yeah, exactly. Charlie, literally everyone towers over you. That's not the point I'm trying to make! The thing that bothers me, though, is, like, one of the last sentences he says he can't help feeling not attracted to her. And that's, like, kind of crazy to me, because I feel like your wife is, like, creating life right now. That's wild. That's amazing. Why are you not so proud of your wife? Why do you hate your wife? I'm sorry, I shouldn't jump to that, but it's funny too. Why do you hate your wife? But like, yeah. It's also like, if the state of her feet has gotten so bad, maybe that is something that should be mentioned at the doctor's. Like, maybe this is like an underlying issue? Like, sometimes you can be pregnant and have other health issues, but I feel like swollen feet's common. I feel like that's a common thing I hear about pregnant women. Also, even if this was an impulse buy, her feet are swollen, she's uncomfortable, and she's growing a baby. Let her have a shoe. Let her have one shoe. Ba-ba. Next story. Let me drink more cola. I should drink some cola after every story because it's good for me. Earlier, I was drinking from my cola, and it sounded like a toot. I just wanted to make sure everybody in the VOD knows I didn't. It was my cola. Because that's been on my mind ever since that noise happened. Anyway, this is from r/confessions. The group chat between me and the boys got leaked. The consequences have been extreme. I am terrified of what that means. Me and my buddies use Discord a ton. So do mine. And we have a server we made with just us in it. And we post tons of offensive jokes, memes, pictures of girls we dated or hooked up with. No nudes, we're not that disrespectful. And boasts of trolling we've done. This sounds like the most pathetic Discord server I've ever heard of. Look, I'm not a prude, right? I don't mind, like, an offensive joke here and there. It also depends on the joke, really. I think we all have our lines. But, like, 9/11 jokes, like, you know, people make that all the time. Some people like them, some people don't. So, like, I can understand, like, offensive jokes and memes to an extent, I want that on the record to an extent. But pictures of girls who dated or hooked up with, that's weird. That's mad weird. And also boasts of trolling, that's also weird. Like, I think it's fine to troll a little, but I think when it becomes your religion, that's unhealthy. Granted, I'm making a lot of assumptions based off one sentence, but that's the beauty of Reddit, baby. Well, this guy Derek got into our circle of friends on our main server. We thought Derek was a cool dude, so we invited him to join our server.
Shut up, bitch!
Well, fuck you too! How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? All 8 of us actually liked the dude, and he seemed chill and thought he'd fit in. However, instead, this asshole screenshotted everything. As in, literally shit going back 5 years, and shared it in our community, exposing us. A lot of people are pissed. A lot of people are pissed. One girl my buddy dated briefly is furious that the raunchy text messages she sent were in there too. Oh, that makes me sad. That makes me sad for her. A couple people were made fun of by photoshopping pictures of them are super butthurt too. There's also some Israel-Palestine and Russia-Ukraine memes that people thought were in poor taste. I don't even want to know. Now a bunch of people think we're all just terrible people and don't want to be our friends anymore. There are a few good people who actually want to join, at least, lol. Either way, if you're reading this, you're a cocksucker, Derek. And pathetic mama's boy who decided to leak shit and make dudes who called you brother look bad. Fuck you. No, I think the guy who joined did the right thing. Now, I will say, 5 years back is a little excessive. I feel like most things kind of do have like a, how do I put this? Statute of limitations, that's the word I'm looking for. I feel like a lot of stuff have statute of limitations. Like, whenever somebody's like, oh, this content creator, like, put this tweet out 5 years ago, I don't care. I care about their actions now. Have they changed from then to now? That's what matters to me. However, considering that a lot of the stuff is recent, I feel like the 5 years shows that this is a pattern of behavior and they have not grown as people, which does, I suppose, make a point, which is fine, I guess. As for, like, this kind of makes me sad for a girl. There's some things I do feel are exceptions. Yeah. Like, if you told me, like, so-and-so burned down an orphanage 5 years ago, I'd be like, that's fucked up. I don't fuck with that person. But if you're like, they had a bad take 5 years ago, I don't care. I can't pretend to care. We've all had a bad take at some point in our life. The important thing is learning and growing from that bad take. But I can forgive arson, okay? But what about the orphans? Think about them. But, there are... Johan, okay. We've been watching Monster Chat, and Johan look crazy. Okay. Johan's a different story. His sister's cool. She's nice. But the thing that makes me really sad is that, the girl who found out that raunchy texts she sent here were shared, at the start of this, they mentioned that no nudes were sent. However, I feel like if they're sending, like, private text conversations that are still in that arena, that's still very violating, I think. Like, if that's something that's meant for you and just you, I don't know. I feel like the basic decent thing to do would be, like, respect that. I also don't understand the point of sharing that kind of stuff. Like, is this to be like, oh, look at what I'm getting later? Or is this, like, to make fun of her? Because it says, like, girls we dated or hooked up with, so I'm assuming, like, because this is in past tense, it's like, but they could have meant, like, when we were currently. Either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it was current or whether this was just them being spiteful after, like, they broke up. Fucked up. Incredibly fucked up. I think, you know, those were not meant for your buddy's eyes. And that's so fucked up. That's all I have to say. That's fucked up. And this is not like, for me it's a sense of intimacy between two friends or partners. Exactly. If like I would be mortified. I'd be mortified if something like that got leaked. And I would never, I don't know, I'd have so much trouble. What's that, honey? What's the matter? I'll be right back. I'm just see. Oh, what? No. You're just by the door. What's up? You just want attention, Felony? Why you be meowing so much? Yeah, it's a private conversation, and it's still fucked up. Like, you can try to be like, oh, we weren't sending nudes all you want, but you were still violating that person in a way, which isn't okay. And the consequences are not extreme. This is just the consequences of your own damn actions. And it is what it is. Those are all the ones I had, but we can keep looking. We can keep looking. Because I'm looking in r/AmITheDevil, because I wanted something controversial. I wanted to be controversial today. Oh wait, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Also, if you ever want to send me a Reddit story, because maybe we'll do this some other time. Maybe we'll make a thing of this. Maybe I'll learn how to read one day. That'd be nice. I, 43 male, accidentally insulted my partner, 43 female, and she has remained cold ever since. She wears sweats all the time now. Before I read the story, I forgot to take my... One day I want to have a partner to EP as gross dudes trying to act sexy with broken English for fun. I have no comment. Let me touch Bob's and Eugene. Okay, I read the title. Accidentally insulted partner. We have for a couple years now. We have been a couple for 7 years now. I only now realize we both view her very differently. From my perspective, she's never been interested in fashion at all. I always wear jeans. She has dozens of black tops. I will learn how to read. She has dozens of black tops. She doesn't wear makeup. Wait, let me reread. I don't know if I read any of this sentence correctly. I am so sorry. This has to be the most frustrating thing to listen to. From my perspective, she's never been interested in fashion at all. Always wears black jeans, has dozens of black tops, doesn't wear makeup. What's wrong with wearing a lot of black? What's wrong with that? Doesn't get her nails done, only does root touch-ups. I love her, but I don't care about this at all. Well, how into fashion are you, sir? From her perspective, apparently, she dresses elegantly and minimalistic. She says she is also always wearing a no makeup. I guess she means mascara, but not sure. Of course, you wouldn't fucking know what that means. She says she pays the salon every month to get her hair colored, or it would be gray. The reason this all came up is when we met up with friends, one of the women was very fashionable, always done up. I had mentioned in passing to my partner I love that she wore vibrant colors. My partner said she personally isn't a fan of bright colors, and in the past she's tried to wear them and doesn't like how it looks. I told her if I was a beautiful woman, I'd wear bright colors for attention. And that's probably why our friend does it. Anyway, this is the gist of our conversation. If my partner was getting upset, I wasn't picking up on that. I am choosing to reserve. However, I am not. You're... I don't even... Give me a second. Give me a second to find the words. You're dating somebody. And it is fine. It is fine to say, oh, I think this person's attractive, or I like the way this person does X, Y, Z. That's fine, and there's healthy ways you can communicate that. But you gushing to your partner, oh, I love how this person looks, and they're like, not really my cup of tea, but you do you. And you keep gushing about how you think women who your partner does not fall under the category of are like super beautiful. That would bother anybody, I think. Even like people that are pretty like confident in their relationship. I honestly don't even recall what I was saying that was making her mad, but she ended up annoyed with something. I was truly confused. You make it sound like a one-side... What? 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 You make it sound like a one- Make it sound like a side or transition? Wait, what part are we talking about? The, yeah, you're making it sound like the friend is like some sort of like side piece, right? Like, you're gushing about them like you're attracted to them in a way. Like, he's not interested, she's just a placeholder. Oh, yes, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, if you're, like, gushing about somebody and you're, like, I don't fall under this category at all. Also, maybe this is just, like, the goth in me, but, like, what's wrong with wearing a lot of black? I like the color black. I like bright colors too. Sometimes I wear bright colors, but I feel most prettiest in black. Ignore my hiccups. Honestly, I don't even recall what I was saying that made her mad, but she ended up annoyed with something. I was truly confused, but we ended up in an argument. I told her that based on how she looks, I had no idea she cared about looks or fashion. She was getting really angry at me, which tends to make me mad too. Reserving judgment till we finish the story. So I told her that if she cares that much, to my surprise, she should present herself better. She insisted I tell her what I meant, so I told her she dresses boring and it makes her look old and dumpy. I also told her I don't care at all, but since she appears to, she should try to dress more fashionable. First of all, you do care. You do care that she doesn't dress like your idea of fashion. You've said it. You've said it. You've said it so much. You've said it in so many ways. Like, you do care about this. You can say you don't care, but you care. Otherwise, why would you try to be hinting to her that you want her to dress like this? Some guys will be very weird and judgmental on appearance, but will dress in t-shirts, shorts, and sandals. Yeah, I want to see this guy's fashion. To truly judge, I want to see this guy's fashion sense. To truly judge this. Because, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Every time I see a dude complain about something like this, they're the crustiest looking motherfucker. And I'm not one who judges appearances usually, but if we're if we're doing that, then I don't know, maybe you should make an effort too, sir. Watch him be a straight up clown, like for real. This was 3 weeks ago. She was very angry with me. Now she's not angry, but she remained cold. She's now taken to dressing in sweatpants and sweatshirts. Says she won't be dressing nice around me anymore. But I never thought she dressed nice in the first place. Also, what are all these like side digs at your girlfriend? Just say you hate your girlfriend. Obviously, I put my foot in my mouth, but I have apologized. But she doesn't care. She says she won't forget what I said. I really just want to drop this. Is this something that needs therapy or just time? Yeah. I think this is... I know, like, that's like the Reddit thing to be like, divorce, break up, never see each other again. But let's be real. You said yourself you do not like the way she looks. You called her old and dumpy looking. Like, if that's how you feel about your partner, I don't think this relationship's going anywhere. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like the idea of, like, somebody lying to me. Like, I don't like the idea of having a partner. And I love the idea of having a partner. But, like, I don't know how I'd feel if they were like, oh, Charlie, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Because there's so much prettier girls out there. I don't need to be the prettiest girl in the world. But I do need to know you think I'm pretty. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, it's just mean-spirited. Like, all their little side jabs at her, it's like, she got really angry, which made me mad too. I don't know, maybe reactive anger. Like, I feel like it's natural when people are, like, mad at you to go on the defensive. But I don't know. I feel like when people get mad at me, I usually get very sad. But yeah, that's a wild take, I think. If I do say so myself. Blah blah blah. Let's keep looking. How's it going, Golden Gear? We're doing Reddit stories today. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I did have a bunch of Reddit stories lined up, but I read them all, so now I'm just like scrolling through AmITheDevil. Yeah, we're doing Reddit today. If I make this an ordinary thing, I'll try to figure out how to get you guys to like submit stories if that's something you guys would be interested in. But we'll see how this pans out, you know? Try this out a couple times. Ooh, this sounds juicy. This one is titled... Actually, let me drink my cola. I almost forgot. How embarrassing. I love that it does my tongue out thing whenever I try to drink a drink. It's been doing that this whole time. Like, whenever I drink something, my tongue comes out. Have I ever showed you guys, like, the part of my rig that I fucked up? I fucked up a part of my rig once. With this very model. I'm working on a new model, so don't worry. You guys don't have to look at this ugly thing forever. But, there was a part of, my mouth rigging I messed up. So whenever I did the tongue out thing, for some reason when I moved to the side, like, my tongue was showing, and I was trying to fix it. Charlie, this model is so good. Are you sure about that? But, so whatever I did to try to fix the tongue out thing, it still kind of works. Like, you see it sometimes. But, I accidentally did a levitating tongue thing. It's like a happy error, because I'm like, this is so silly. Anyway, back to Reddit. Found out my husband sleeps with his ex-wife from time to time to prevent her from dating. I just want to lie down in the fetal position and cry. We've been married for 2 years. 2 happy years until I stumbled upon an email from her that said she didn't want to do this anymore because she wanted to find love and meet other men. He answered her that he would love her more than anything. And he answered that he loved her more than anything, even more than the children. They have 3. I don't know. I'm actually going to ask you guys a question after that, but I have opinions on that. And that he would give her all the sex she wanted. Then went on about how it was safer for her not to let strangers in her home, and she said that she was done. He asked her to marry him. She told him she didn't want him back as a husband. He said he loved her. Now I know why he refuses to have shared custody with her and would rather pay $4,500 in child support instead, so she doesn't have time to date. I am so heartbroken. I feel like trash. Why is he doing this? This is tongue-in-cheek humor. Okay. So throw the whole husband away. However, the sentence that stuck out to me, because I've seen this. Oh my! Why is it? Is it the background music's muted again? Why do they keep doing this? Anyway. So the sentence that stuck out to me is he said that he loved her more than the children. I feel like that's a red flag. Like, a lot is a red flag here. But what do you guys think of, like, parents that put their partners ahead of their children? Because I have mixed feelings on it. I've seen some people argue, like, that you are supposed to put your partner above your children because your children will see, like, that's what love is supposed to be, you putting your partner before all else. But, like, I don't know. I feel like you should put your children first. Yeah. I feel like putting your children... Because, like, don't get me wrong. If I had a partner, I would love them so much, but they'd also be a grown-ass adult. Like, kids are helpless. You should care more about them. But that's not even the biggest red flag about this. Like, your husband's cheating on you. He's fucking up his baby mama's life. Like, just throw this whole man away. Anyway, let's find another story. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that either. Let's see. The thing is, like, a lot of the stuff that's like highly rated on Am I the Devil sounds interesting, but like the post has been deleted. Like, damn, I wanted to read that. Like, this one's about a girl who's like jealous that her boyfriend's giving her sister attention and the sister's 9 years old. I want to read about that. Why is that deleted? Why would you delete that? You put that on the internet. Why do you delete that? Alright, let's see. Oh, let's check this out. Am I the asshole for calling my sister cruel for her tattoo idea? For those who don't know, I fucking love tattoos. So we're gonna look at we're gonna give a little look-see here. Sis is 28, I'm 26, I'm male. My sis and I has always had a strange God, am I dumb or is this person? My sis and I have always had a strange relationship with our parents, especially my mom. I am clearly not privy to the reasons because things are fine with me and my parents. Okay, my sis has always had a strange this person types weird. Anyway, things are fine with me and my parents, and when I went to college, I met her, and when I went to college, I met her creative writing professor. Oh, and it's supposed to be, like, why did they not specify that they're calling their sister a letter as an, that was so confusing. I thought they were using in as and. Okay, when N went to college, I met her creative writing professor as... Thank you for the raid! Thank you so much, Delta! Welcome! How are you doing? How is your stream? I'm becoming a Redditor today. We're reading Reddit stories. If you got one you want to send me, that'd be cool. Because we did read a bunch of them, now we're just like scrolling around Am I the Devil? Looking for some rage bait. Yes, I'm a Redditor now. I've fallen into the depths. But mostly this is a stream where I realize I don't know how to read. This is learning how to read with Charlie, because I am not good at this. But I hope you had a lovely stream. Look, I couldn't talk all day. That's valid. That's so valid. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, I am evil candy queen. I am the candy Satan of candy hell, which is the gluttony section of hell. So I am the gluttony Lucifer. My name is Charlie, the evil candy queen. I am evil. But we're gonna try to power through this. This is, am I the asshole for calling my sister?
Look at you! You're just the bottom!
You're the bottom! I'm not a bottom. I would never be a bottom. Am I the asshole for calling my sister cruel for her tattoo idea? My sis N has always had a strange relationship with our parents, especially my mom. I'm clearly not privy because things are fine with me and my parents. When N went to college, she met her creative writing professor as a freshman. They got close immediately. They would do a lot together, work closely on a few different writing projects. N never specifically said this, but it was obvious to anyone who saw them interact that they had a substitute mother-daughter type relationship, which hurt my mom a lot to see. I always thought she'd grow out of it or the professor would move on, but 10 years later they were still very close. About a month ago, my professor died unexpectedly, and it devastated In. She was really depressed over the holidays, which of course was all in front of my mom, and a difficult reminder that Anne loved the professor as a mother way more than she loved my mom as a mother. She still talks to my parents and stuff. They don't fight or anything, but Anne is very distant and doesn't tell them anything about her life beyond the bare minimum. My mom tried to comfort Anne, but Anne was doing her distant thing and didn't want comfort. Something unfortunate that happened to Anne was when she got the call that she died, she was brewing tea, and the shock of the news, she spilled boiling water on her arm, which burned her badly on the wrist. I think the burn was like on borderline of 2nd to 3rd degree, and is definitely looking pretty rough during the holidays. Anne is my favorite Pokemon guy. Hell yeah. I find it so awkward whenever they make a letter the name. We might need to start doing things like give them like a name when they don't have one. Maybe like would it be fun to like do polls, like decide the Redditors' names? The Reddit characters? The Reddit characters in our story? The burn was on the borderline of 2nd to 3rd degree and definitely still looked pretty rough during the holidays. Anne said it was especially hard in addition because to the physical pain, every time she looks at it, she's reminded of the moment she found out the professor died, which I totally get. I was on FaceTime with Anne and she talked to her tattoo artist friend, who said that the burn should be able to heal well enough to get a tattoo over it. Then Anne excitedly told me about her tattoo idea, which is a type of flower the professor gave her as a bouquet for her undergrad graduation. My mom was so embarrassed that day because she didn't get in flowers, but the professor did, and Anne was parading them around so happy. It was a reminder of their connection. I guess Anne and the professor exchanged those flowers for every special occasion, like birthdays, etc. Sorry for the day, I was finding receipts? What are you talking about? I checked. This is obvious slander. Obvious slander. I didn't say that. I didn't say any of that. Slander. I'm not a pretty good artist. I'm not good at things. I'm not pretty. How dare you? Going to Twitter with it? I will see you in court. Where the fuck was I? So now she wants to get a decent-sized tattoo in a highly visible spot of something that will remind everyone of the professor. I told Anne it seemed really cruel to my mom, who already feels cast aside and like she's in exile from Anne, and that without the constant permanent reminder, Anne kind of scoffed and said, "I can't believe you think you have the right to tell me not to do this," called me an ass and hung up, still not talking to me except for a very brief text saying, "Congrats for your promotion I just got." My parents aren't commenting. My dad said that I should have kept quiet, and though he agrees, my mom made no comment but seemed grateful that I stood up for her. I feel like I was just being protective of my mom, but am I the asshole? Yes! So, here's my stance here. We do not get enough context on her relationship with her mom. So, it's hard to say. So, I'm not going to say that the mom is inherently a bad person. But I don't think that, like, there would be... It doesn't even sound like there's animosity, but I don't think this distance comes from nothing. And regardless of whether... This is something I fucking hate. I fucking hate when siblings do this. When they look at your pain with a parent you have a strained relationship with, and they're like, well, my relationship with that parent's fine, so you're the bad guy. No. Just like, you do not get a say on my trauma or, you, like, whether you think it's valid or not, it's not your place to say. And very clearly, she had a very close relationship with this professor, and honestly, it's her body. She could tattoo whatever the fuck she wants on her. If she wanted to tattoo pee pee poo poo, I'm going to stick my head in doo doo. Like, you can't stop her. Like, let her live her life. And it sounds like the professor above and beyond for her. And I don't know enough to say, like, what the mom was like, but I feel like the mom also was kind of dropping the ball here, because it doesn't feel like she's really trying within. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like she's seeing that this, like, mother-daughter relationship is forming with, had formed with her daughter and this other woman. But she doesn't seem to have ever, like, saw this and was like, I'm going to take the initiative to do more for my daughter so that she knows I'm there for her. And also, I don't know. I think if you don't have a good relationship with your parents, there's nothing wrong with having a different parental figure. I've always wanted, like, I want so badly, like, a little family of my own that I can pick out. You know what I mean? I think it's a sweet thing. Anyway, more scrolling. Let's see. Ooh! This sounds interesting. I'm about to chug some cola, gamers. Okay. My daughter tore apart my fiance's wedding dress, ending our engagement. I've grounded her until she's 18, imposed strict limitations on her activities, and making her work to contribute expenses. This is more of an off-my-chest post. I am not looking for advice, but welcome some given with empathy and understanding in mind. I, 42 male, have a 16-year-old daughter, Ella. 6 months ago, because my partner Chloe, 36 female, ended our engagement. Also, my cat is crawling in my desk. If you guys hear a bunch of that noise, they like to crawl in my desk and just push the things that are in there out. It is so fucked up. My cats are fucked up, you guys. Felony. Where was I at? To give some context, before my partner, now ex, was in my life, I was married to my late wife for about 1.5 years. She was in a vegetative state, and I had already grieved her death before she passed on. Accepting her death was something I had already prepared ahead of time, and dipped my feet in the dating market 6 months after. Wait. Oh, okay. I thought, like, okay, I was very confused on the timeline there. I thought they meant, like, before she even was dead, like, that you started dating, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I have mixed feelings on that. That's not okay. I met my lovely partner, Chloe, who also had a daughter from her first marriage. After dating a year, I proposed to her. I was ecstatic to be with the love of my new life, Ella. Wait. I was ecstatic to be with the love of my new life. Ella, not so much. Chloe tried to bond with Ella, did everything possible to make her feel like a welcome presence in her life. Ella was not thrilled about the routinely mess. Wait. Ella was not thrilled and had routinely messed with Chloe, such as guarding her mother's territory, having an attitude when I got Chloe gifts, hid her stuff, and generally becoming over-rebellious. It used to cause fights between Chloe and I, who felt that I should discipline her appropriately so that it doesn't impact our relationship. Ella completely lost her mind when she heard I was marrying Chloe. Eventually, a few weeks after she accepted, and Chloe made her a bridesmaid. Because of this, she had access to Chloe's wedding prep stuff. 3 days before the wedding, Chloe had assigned Ella the duty of getting her adjusted dress picked up from the tailors, as she had lost some weight in the time and the initial measurements were taken. To Chloe's horror, Ella had completely ruined the dress on purpose and admitted to such. There were fabric patches missing, stains from coffee. It looked like a dog chewed on the damn thing. Chloe broke down and called off the wedding. She didn't speak to me for a whole week and went out of town, and I frantically, I know how to read. I know the F words. And I frantically tried contacting her, wishing we could work things out. When Chloe met me for the final time, she told me she wants to end our relationship because she has unknowingly ignored a lot of red flags from the kind of behavior I let go from my daughter. Chloe said she could not put up with this level of disrespect her entire life. I begged and pleaded and even promised I would send her to boarding school, but she did not listen to me. I was furious at my daughter for meddling in my relationship and tearing it apart like she did with my lovely fiancé's dress. I grounded her until she turns 18. At the time, she was turning 16, so she wasn't even 16 yet. Because when I first saw the titles and looked at the first sentence, like, oh, your daughter is 16, that's a very long time to be grounded. But she wasn't even 16 yet. She was 15. She has now come home straight to school, not allowed to have any relationships. She had no problem ruining my relationship, and she doesn't deserve one until she's old enough to consent. No trips, no social media, nothing. Ella's then boyfriend also dumped her once he learned what she did. He was also part of the wedding guest list. I even put restrictions on internet usage, and she is only allowed one electronic, that is her desktop computer, for school. I took her smartphone away and gave her a basic SIM phone. Instead, she is able to work at the diner across from the street, pitched in to household bills, groceries as part of her sentence. If she proves herself worthy, I promise to cover a part of her college tuition. So just one more thing about grief counseling. Yes, my daughter was completing a program through her school's health and counseling services. However, she left that midway when I tried to convince her to go through with it again. She rebelled, saying that they are simply getting her to accept the unacceptable in her life, which referred to Chloe. I even managed to convince her to try 3 more psychiatrists, but she did not want to engage with any after that. I couldn't force her to go to therapy if it made her uncomfortable, so I didn't enforce it. I regret doing that, really. Had I been stern enough, I would have introduced consequences if she did not put enough effort into working on herself in therapy. My daughter cries to me every day to reduce her sentence, let her live and lead a normal life, but I refuse. She took one good thing in my life away from me, and I feel horrible and can't stop missing Chloe. I wish she'd just come back. I feel so angry at my daughter and still can't stop resenting her. I cannot find it in me to forgive her. I didn't seem to imply that my daughter isn't a part of the good things in my life. Clearly, I misconveyed my post. Here's what I said to her. Oh, did I misread that? I don't remember him saying that. Did he take that out? Okay, either way, this is what he said to her. Ella, I was in a very dark place from witnessing your mother's death. It was extremely tough for me to lose my partner. And then I had a good thing going on in my life. It felt wonderful. I had hope. And your selfishness, pettiness, and stubbornness, you took that one good thing away from me. I cannot forgive you for that. Now, I'm not a parent, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I think the punishment does not fit the crime. Now, it's completely normal to not like your step-parents. I mean, it depends on your step-parent, I think. But I think it also depends on the situation. You said that, like, you started dating very shortly after her mother died. Of course she's not going to be ready. Sure, you said you were able to grieve her before she died, but was your daughter able to? I don't think so. And yeah, you might have, like, kind of sort of tried to get her into therapy. But, like, I also think I've never been to therapy. I don't even know how to get resources for that, so very cool if you do. But like, I feel like it would be also massively helpful if when going to therapy, you also have like a good supportive home life. And I don't think she was ever able to process her mother's death so quickly before you introduced another woman in her life. And also too, like, this is actually a pet peeve I have with a lot of parents in general. How long did you know this person before you started bringing them around your daughter? Because, like, I feel like your daughter would have needed, like, a lot of time to process her mother's death. And I don't know. It's a red flag to me if you're able to bring, like, your kid. Like, if you're able to bring, like, a partner around your kid very quickly. I don't know. I feel like you gotta get time. Like, get to know that person. Know that they would be a good influence in their life. I think, like, Chloe, like, she's valid for leaving, obviously. Like, this kid hates her. Like, and I also feel like Chloe should also understand that, like, she's grieving her mom. Not that that makes any of this okay, but I don't know. I feel like I would give a little bit more patience and grace. And how long after they started dating did they start getting married? How long until they started getting engaged and stuff? Because I feel like that also, like, it feels like this whole thing was moving too fast. Not just for your relationship's sake, but for, like, your daughter too. Like, I'm not saying, like, your daughter had to like your partner. Obviously, you liked Chloe. That's valid. You wanted to be with Chloe forever. That's great. But I think, you know. Also, actually, you know what? Fuck Chloe. Fuck Chloe. Chloe set her up. Chloe set Ella up. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you mean to tell me your soon-to-be stepdaughter fucking hates you? And you're like, oh, your job? I'm going to leave you alone with my wedding dress. Chloe did not want to get married to this man and was looking for an out. Tell me I'm wrong. Look me in the eyes. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, that's what I think. Ooh. Alright. This sounds interesting. Our next story. As a former incel, I found a relationship with an amazing woman, and now I feel resentful towards my friends, towards how progressive my friends wait, what the fuck is this sentence? And now I feel resentful towards how my progressive friends / community treated me when I was lonely. I was never, quote, entitled. I just wanted some love and relationships I saw around me, and relationships I saw others around having. Nice! Pull your cock out, it's Reddit time. I never hated women. Sorry about my hiccups. I never hated women. I hated how I was held up to a ton of unfair standards and expectations while being told having my own was toxic. What do you mean by that? I hated being expected to pay for dates and meals and being used as a free meal only to get ghosted. Honestly, that's fair. I'm a firm believer that if you're, like, just now starting to date, like, I think it's fine to take your partner out and, like, treat them to things. But I think if it's, like, new, if it's, like, a first date or something, I'm a firm believer that, like, you split the thing. Like, you pay for what you bought, and they pay for what they bought. I feel like a lot of people are adopting that idea, too. I don't think I know many people that's like, oh, we gotta have men pay first. Honestly, who the fuck is paying for anything in this economy? Nobody buys anything anymore. It's too expensive. I hated being told, I don't like your body, but I like the dates you take me on, by the girl I lost my virginity to. I'm not... Honestly, this is Reddit, so probably every story we read was fake, but... Is this a real thing somebody said? I don't know. That's so... Also... I don't like your body, but I like the dates you take me on. In what context would anybody say that ever? I'm not gonna say that never happened. Maybe this has happened to people. I don't know. I hated that I was expected to be stoic and emotionless because I would get ghosted if I expressed that I had feelings. I don't deny that shallow women exist. I don't deny that, but I feel like I don't know anybody that, like, hates when men show emotions. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I just feel like this is hitting, like, every single nail on the head. Like, every stereotype. I'm not sure. I will reserve my judgment for the full story. I hate how I was repeatedly told to not focus on relationships and to look to friends or other men to have my needs met because women didn't owe me anything. Only to be met with the reality that my friends weren't there to hug me after a long day at work. My friends weren't splitting rent and bills with me. My friends had their own relationships to go home to. Not to mention that most of my former friends paired up and fucked off elsewhere. Now that I've met and been with my amazing girlfriend for just 1 year, it's done more than improve my life more than my friends ever did. We split expenses, so I have twice as much disposable income to actually go out and enjoy life. She's there to hug me after a rough day of work. We split chores, housework. Things don't get overwhelming if one of us gets sick for a few days. So I'm resentful that I was treated like an entitled misogynist for wanting a loving and equal relationship. I'm so angry that I was fed this clear bullshit about focusing on friends by people who already had their needs met in their own relationships. It's no fucking wonder young men are going to scumbags like Andrew Tate for advice when the prevailing messages coming from progressive spaces is that they're entitled and don't deserve to be loved. Edit, I think I'm done with Reddit for tonight. I'm gonna have a nice dinner with my wonderful girlfriend when we talk about our days. Toodles for now. Okay. I'm not sure this story is real, but I don't know what the hell is going on in, like, dating culture. Like, anytime I've ever heard about Tinder, it's been, like, the most fucked up shit. It's been, like, I don't think there's anybody on Tinder looking for, like, their future wife or husband. It feels like a dark abyss, a very shallow place that I do not want to be. But, yeah. But we're gonna talk about all these stories like they're real because I think it's funner that way. I think, like, Serpent doesn't like it when I call myself an incel. So, speaking as somebody who, has a hard time in the love category, I think it's fine to want a relationship. It's fine to admit that you're lonely. And I do understand that, like, men and women have their own different issues in that department. Sometimes, you know, women are seen as, like, women, it's more acceptable for them to be virgins, but to an extent, you know? Like, this is something I heard, like, that it's better for women to be quote-unquote pure, but once they get older, it's less appealing, and it's like, pick a fucking side. Do you like it or not? But like with guys, it's a different rodeo, and this is going to be a hot take. I know this is gonna be a hot take. Cause nothing about this is necessarily coming off as if they're entitled, but they're also saying they're a former incel, and don't get me wrong, I've lurked incel chat rooms, and some wild shit goes down there. Some wild shit. I thought about making an entire video on that, but nah. Nah. Like, just so fucked up shit that goes on in those chat rooms. But I do, like, so I don't think we have a very reliable narrator if this is true, but I will say one thing. Because they were talking about, like, the prevailing message from progressive statements being that you're entitled and don't deserve to be loved. I don't think I've ever heard a progressive say that you don't deserve to be loved. I feel like it's more like sex. And I don't know. I don't have too much opinions about this. I don't know why this is an Am I the Devil? Unless there's some context I'm missing. But, yeah. I don't know what that... Ooh, what is this? Everyone deserves to be loved. Yeah, yeah. And I'm a firm believer that, you know, you will find your own love in your own time if you just, you know, if you're willing to be patient for it. I think it's a smart thing to not go out looking for it. I don't know if that's the right phrasing. I feel like don't give yourself, like, certain expectations. I feel like set your life up with no expectations outside of being happy. For example, earlier today in this very, stream, I was talking about how I think it would be nice to have, like, 1 million kids someday. I would love that. However, who knows what the future holds? Maybe I might not have any kids at all. And that's also fine. I think looking at your life and setting these goals, like, this is something I have to have or my life has no meaning, is setting yourself up for, like, failure and to just feel unfulfilled. You have to find happiness in yourself, and in that you'll find others. You know what I mean? Things will happen for you in your own time, and while you wait, you might be sad, you might be lonely, but that's only gonna make the person you find a lot more worth waiting for. At least I think so. Anyway, next story. Am I wrong for finding comfort in my late wife's twin sister? My wife passed away in a horrific car accident 8 months ago, leaving myself and our 3-year-old daughter behind. I was far too depressed to do anything, much less care for my daughter properly, so my sister-in-law, her twin sister, essentially moved in to help out. While sobbing about my wife's death together, one thing led to another, and we ended up having sex. Okay, after the first time, we both felt nauseated with guilt, but soon came to realize that it was helping both of us cope. She's so much like my wife that when I'm with her, I'm able to kind of forget what happened. You're using her as a placeholder for your dead wife? Okay, it's temporary relief, but relief nonetheless. She grew to believe that she was doing a good thing by helping me cope and be a better father to my daughter. It's been a regular thing up until now. Obviously, I'm conflicted about it. No one knows what's going on, as it might tear our family apart, but it's helped me not myself, and I have been a much better father/member of society since we began. I don't know if I'm prepared to stop. Help me see things objectively. How fucked is this? Edit, I didn't specify that the first time we slept together was a month after her passing. Yes, it was very sick in hindsight. We both regretted it deeply. It didn't happen again for another 2 months. And then continuously until today. Update. I talked to my sister-in-law, which ended us in bed together once again. I don't think we can cut things off quite yet. It seems the majority of criticism is about how this will affect our daughter, which is very understandable. We've decided to just take better care to keep our relationship private for as long as possible until we're ready to move on. Yeah, quite cooked indeed. I think this is bad. This is not a healthy coping mechanism, and it's kind of disrespectful to your dead wife to start boning her sister. Now, I understand she looks like your wife, she acts like your wife, but she's not your fucking wife. And yeah, this is not healthy. Both of you need to stop. Also, I can understand what he's getting out of this, because she's his dead wife's twin. But what the fuck is she getting out of this? Like, I can understand a little bit from OP's point of view, because he's like, she looks like my wife, she acts like my wife. If we play make-believe, my wife is still alive. But, like, unless, like, OP has a dead twin brother and was married to his sister-in-law, I don't know what she would be getting out of this. I don't know, like, some people, like, when they're sad, they just want to fuck, which is, like, valid, but I don't know. This is not healthy. You guys gotta stop. Yeah, don't pull your cock out. Not at the funeral. I'm not gonna make that joke. Devil's advocate, she loved him as well. Maybe, like, she didn't want to, like, act on it, because that was her sister's, but now, husband, but now that her sister's gone, I don't know. Ooh, this sounds interesting. The first sentence is, this might be a long post. Okay, it's not that long. Thank goodness. I, 37 male, want to try to get back with the one who got away, 36 female. Is there any chance of that happening? I've been tearing myself apart just thinking about it. How things ended, I can't stop no matter how much I try. This is going to be a long post. And I know I'm writing a lot of rambling nonsense. When I, 37 male, was 20, I met the most beautiful woman, Lila, who was 19 at the time. She was beautiful, both inside and out. She had a gorgeous dark brown hair that looked red and purple when it hit the light just right. These golden brown eyes and lashes that looked like a doll's. Freckles on her rosy plump cheeks, and a single dimple when she smiled a certain way. She was a year younger than me, yet she always remained so much smarter and mature in every aspect. We dated for 2 years. I met her parents, met her no-nonsense cop father, definitely gave me stank eye at first, but grew to like me. Her mom adored me right off the bat and kept commenting on how my green eyes complemented my daughter's golden brown in the most romantic way. I still don't fully understand what that means, but I like the compliment. Her younger siblings loved playing in the backyard with me. She met my parents and my 2 brothers, and they all loved her right off the bat. My younger brother was the same age as her, and they were all going to college together and would help each other study some shared classes their majors had. Hell, even my 6-month-old dog had adopted even more. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Hell, even my 6-month-old dog I had adopted before even meeting her seemed to like her more than me. Okay. She told me her dreams, how she wanted to own a home that was tucked away from everything but not completely isolated, how she wanted to be a doctor, how she wanted to help people. She wanted to be a pediatrician. She loved kids. She always said she wanted a family. She didn't care how many kids she had. She just wanted to experience the ups and downs of motherhood. She wanted the good, the bad, the ugly. I listened to her go on and on about baby names, how she would design a nursery. At the time, I wanted kids too. I wanted to marry this girl, give her the family she so clearly wanted. She was my Lila. I wanted to stay with her forever. I was young, but I was in love with her. After 2 years of dating, I started to realize I didn't want to have kids. I thought I was just being around too many bratty cousins and it was turning me off from the idea. But the more I thought about it, the more idea of having to be a father made me sick. I would get headaches, my stomach would twist in knots thinking about having to take care of some screaming, crying, shitting little thing. And then having it throw a tantrum. And then having it grow into a tantrum-throwing toddler, a bratty child, some moody teenager. I didn't want to be held back like that. I wanted to travel, have money, be free. After a few drinks one night, I ended up telling all this to Lila. This is not Futurama. I remember she went quiet and simply said, I won't try to change your mind, but I'm not giving up on my dreams. I remember scoffing and rolling my eyes, telling her we weren't going to have kids. She stood up off the couch and said, you might not want that anymore, but I still do. I'm not going to try to force either one of us to change our minds. One of us will end up miserable. I realized she was breaking up with me, even though she was so calm and mature about it. I remember feeling so angry. She was walking around the apartment, gathering her things, being completely silent. I kept arguing with her, trying to change her mind. I kept telling her that it was stupid to want kids, that they're annoying and a waste of time. When she still didn't budge, I started to insult her. I said she was stupid, that she was a weak woman for wanting to be a mom, that she should just give up on being a doctor so she could push out her brats. Lila finally started to respond to me, telling me to calm down, that we simply wanted different things in life and that was okay. I hated her in that moment. She wasn't agreeing with me. I remember punching the wall of our apartment, kicking a door, throwing anything I could get my hands on. She watched me wreck our living room kitchen, not saying a word. She walked past me and left. The whole thing happened over a few hours. In less than a day, I lost the love of my life and my apartment was now trashed. Of course, news of why we broke up and my reaction reached my family. My mom cried seeing how I reacted. My dad gave me the coldest look I'd ever seen. My brother said I was an idiot. My younger brother said I was lucky Lila hadn't called the cops on me. Yeah, bro went nuclear. Like, what the fuck? Like, that, it kind of goes without saying. You wanted different things. Like, what else could she do? That was 15 years ago. I've tried to have relationships since, but they never lasted more than a few weeks. I travel around for work, but now I'm back in the same town Lila lives in. Lila got married, got a doctorate, had kids, and is still a pediatrician last I heard. I know my younger brother still kept some contact with her the first few years after the breakup. He even invited her to his wedding, but she declined because she didn't want to cause drama. I'm back in our town. We both grew up and dated and lived in. I'm back in the town we both grew up in, dated and lived in, and where she currently lives. I can't stop thinking about her. I miss her so much right now. I miss her sweet perfume that smelled like bakery, her strawberry shampoo, the way she looks in the light. She's 36 now, and I want to reach out and make amends with her. I want to hold and hug her one last time. I want to tell her I love her, and that I'm so sorry. I don't know if that's a good idea, but part of me needs closure. When you fuck up this bad, you don't deserve the closure. I don't know if that's a hot take, but when you do shit like that, you're not entitled to closure. If anyone's entitled to some sort of closure, that would be Lila in this situation. She has not reached out. She does not. Her situation, she might look at this like, I have all the closure I need. I saw that he was a red flag. Anyway, I don't know what to do. I want to sweep her off her feet and have her be my love again. But I don't know if that ship has sailed already. It has. Wish I had that energy for that. I wish I had energy, but not for that, just in general. Honestly, same. I'm pretty energetic. Yeah, someone can't handle anger. Bro's crazy. No, you're right. That's borderline, ghostlight type shit. Like, I'm not... I feel like, feelings are always valid. No matter how ridiculous it seems, your feelings are valid. If you feel sad, hurt, ignored, neglected, if you feel that way, that's valid. But it's what you do with those feelings that really matter. And it seemed like you started off talking about, how you don't want to be kids. This is a very big dream of hers. And also, like, she has kids now. Is her, is her... When you say I miss the smell of her perfume, it's a bit much after the explosive behavior. Yeah. And I get this happened, like, decades ago, and I'm not saying that people can't change, but whenever you change, you have to accept that the people you hurt might not care. The people you hurt, like, I feel like if you changed, you would understand if somebody doesn't want you in your life and their life anymore. I hate when people come crawling back with it. I changed. I'm better now. It's like, if you changed, then you would understand why I'm ignoring you. Why I want nothing to do with you. That was also 16 years ago. Yeah. It seems like, yeah, totally never experienced that before. It's really, just... It seemed like he just felt like he was going to say he doesn't want children and then they just would not have children and live the life he wanted. But I feel like it kind of makes sense. Like, I know I said just a few minutes ago, like, I don't want to set up my life to have expectations. Sure, I want kids, but it's not the end of the world if I don't have them. And, like, I feel like that topic of conversation, because I don't know who I'm going to fall in love with. I want it to be a healthy conversation with whoever my future partner is. About, like, do we want kids? How many? Like, I feel like I want to wait to have my heart set on something. If that makes sense. With that said, I don't know. I feel like it kind of makes sense. Like, her dream is to have kids and you don't want kids, and yeah, what else could you really do? Like, well, obviously this is a breakup conversation. Also, like, after, like, trying to convince her that kids aren't great, like, the behavior, like, you said you didn't want, like, a child throwing a bratty tantrum, and then you throw, like, this tantrum, and, like, sure, we can talk about how childish his actions were, but I think what we also need to talk about is how fucking scary that is. That, like, you're having this conversation, you realize your partner and you want different things, and it's like, okay, well, I suppose this is the end. And they start, like, throwing shit and, like, screaming at you. Yeah, I would be terrified, honestly. I would be mortified. I'd be scared. Like, even all these years later, she was invited by the, brother to the wedding. And she didn't want to, like, cause any issues. It's like, I would be terrified to be anywhere near this person again. Like, if I was her, and I got news that they were back in town, I would go into hiding. Look, no. Also, I think this is also important. Because she has kids now. And he didn't say that he still wants kids, so I don't know how it's gonna work if they do get back together. I don't understand how that would work at all. And also, like, is, like, her partner or whoever she had kids with, is that, like, are they still in the picture? Because obviously, if that's the case, then I don't think you have a chance at all if there's even one if she was single. Because I don't think you would have a chance if she was single either. It's wild because it didn't have to be in the end. It was destructive energy for her to not submit to his will. Exactly, exactly. Like, it could just, like, be a thing of, like, okay, this sounds like a breakup, but, like, maybe they talk things out. Maybe one of them gets more so on board than the other. But here's what I think. I think if you want kids, both partners need to talk about it and both be, like, 100% on board. You know what I mean? You both have to be really wanting this. And if one partner isn't wanting it, then that's just setting your future child up to have a neglectful parent. I think so anyway. But it also feels like, even though it's decades later, and sure, maybe he's a better person, I don't fucking know, I feel like the issues, the underlying dreams issues thing, hasn't changed. Because he still doesn't say he wants kids, and she has kids. So, I feel like there's still a problem there. Alright. That sounds like a interesting story. Let me get my cola juice out. He plans to get rid of them and the husband? That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, am I the asshole for telling my twin sister she will never fit in with us? You can't sit with us. 29, F, have 4 siblings. Mark, 33, male. Josh, 31, male. Eva, 29, female. And Tony, 26, male. After Monster, I need to show you Inuyashiki? Inuyashiki? Is that the new Inuyasha? The one where, like, it's about Inuyasha's kid? I hadn't seen that. I've only seen clips of it on Twitter. I don't know how I feel about whenever it shows their kids. Because, like, I feel like it could work as a movie, but as a whole, like, series, you compare it to the original, and then you're like, I'd just rather be watching. Because that's how Boruto got ruined for me. I watched the first 2 episodes of Boruto, and I was like, fuck that shit. No, it's super different? Oh. Hell yeah. Let's see. Me and Eva are fraternal twins. Our mother was a stay-at-home mom, but she was emotionally absent. Growing up, our father was very hard on us. He wanted his first son to be a doctor. So Mark had to work all the time. He had Josh learn violin at 4 years old and made him play for hours. Tony had to be a lawyer. I had the chance to be a beautiful kid. And I participated in beauty pageants starting at 3 years old. Eva was free of this because she wasn't beautiful. Okay. That's an odd thing to say. Eva was free of this because she wasn't beautiful and my father didn't think a woman could do much anyway. She always had the She always had the liberty and could do whatever she wanted without pressure on her shoulders. She could have friends and no care about her grades and didn't have to work her ass off every day. We're not proud of it, but we tended to exclude her since she was slacking off while we were working so hard. She was also a problematic teen, skipped class, hung around with a bad crowd, and drank. She even disappeared for a week without notice when we were 15, stating afterwards that she wanted to get away with her boyfriend on a road trip. And while I wasn't allowed to leave the house for a night because my parents wanted to make sure I did my work and would only eat what I was allowed to. Eva would throw tantrums saying she was neglected and no one would care if she disappeared. She went missing for a week and nobody gave a damn. I think that's valid. That is a valid thing to say. That is so valid. She went missing a week. I was enraged with her because she never realized the chance we had. And we only grew apart from that point. After high school, I went far away and started working as a makeup artist. I eloped at 26 with Eli, 27 male, and never looked back. Last month, our father passed away. Me and my siblings and I went to the family home for the funeral, and we stayed 3 weeks and reconnected a lot. Mark had a mental breakdown at 23 from all the pressure and barely recovered. He's happier now and got a job as a tech in a lab and is married. He has 2 little kids. Good for him. Josh stopped violin and is a drummer and piano teacher. Nice. Tony is a public defender. Okay. And Eva chose to be a social worker. Oh, that's sweet. That's actually sweet. I could see why she wanted that job. It was a bit weird with Eva since we hadn't seen each other in years and gave up contact too. Once again, she tried to dismiss what we went through, saying that she was as abused as us, even though that is nowhere near true. I think it's true. I don't think she should dismiss what you guys went through, but I think it's also valid that she was mistreated as well. One evening, she completely flipped out on us, calling us asshole and saying that we were like our father, and saying that we... What the fuck? One evening, she completely flipped out on us, calling us an asshole, and saying that we were just like our father and excluded her. She kept going on about how our parents never took interest in her, and neither did we, and that she went through hell thinking she was worthless. Mark started to cry, so I took Eva out and lashed out at her, saying she was the asshole for being jealous of our misery, and that she will never fit in with us because she never got abused, and it was insane to claim she had. She left that night and didn't apologize to any of us. When I went home, I cried a lot and told everything to my husband, expecting him to support me. But he said I should be the one to call and apologize to my sister. So am I the asshole? Yes, 100%. Like, let me read the comments here. Why are they talking about Encanto in the comments? I've never seen Encanto. Is that relevant? Alright, so I think, like, my thoughts on this story. I think it's entirely valid to, like, see, like, I think it's entirely valid to look at the pressure and expectations and have your life decided for you. And, like, what you went through was terrible and horrible, and no child should have to go through that. But what she went through was also terrible and horrible, and nobody should have to go through that. Like, just because it's on the opposite ends of the spectrum does not mean what happened to her was not abuse. She went missing for a week and no one cared. That's devastating. Like, knowing if you disappeared, nobody would notice has to be such a horrifying thing to know about yourself. And yeah, I think that's, like, what she went through wasn't okay. Like, neglect is abuse. Exactly. Also, like, this stuff here, she skipped class, she hung out with a bad crowd, she drank. Like, poor girl was just, like, crying for help her entire life. And no one cared. And don't get me wrong, what they went through was terrible. What they went through was, like, having your lives decided for you, having to be forced to do these things you don't want to do. Like, the OP said that they were forced to be in beauty pageants. And, like, having your appearance, having to be wrapped up in your appearance at such a young age and shit like that, like, it sounds like what they went through was terrible, and I'm not trying to take away from that. That is horrible and sad. But I hate, this is a thing I hate that siblings do. They'll just look at their own pain and dismiss yours. They think it's a competition, and that's what I hate. I hate when people think it's a genuine competition. Like, if you're joking around, like, and then a boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo, nobody loved me. Like, that's fine. But, like, in an actual, like, situation where you guys are talking about, like, your experiences, I think, while it makes sense that we are wrapped up in the things that happen to ourselves, I think, like, you should also listen and have empathy for what other people went through, even if that's not something you can relate to, you know? You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Let's see. Bee-boo-ba. Let's see. Oh. Ooh. Sometimes people misunderstand me trying to show that I relate, but some people act like it's a competition. Yeah, I think that happens too. Like when you want to talk about an experience that you went through that's similar, sometimes people will have the feeling of like, well, this is about me, this isn't about you. And I understand that, but I also, I don't know, let everybody open up about the shit they've been through. It's not a competition. Nobody's trying to say that what they went through is worse or better. We're all going through it, you know? And beep boop bop beep boop. Says the competitive one. Okay, that's different. That's completely different. That's completely different. That's not the same. That's not the same at all. That's not the same at all. It's okay when I do it. But with that said, everybody, I hope you guys had a lovely time. And while some of us may be the asshole, don't forget to learn and grow and better yourself and make good decisions. I hope you guys had a lovely time.